Hi everyone, welcome to a quick tutorial on how to download and install Java JDK from Bellsoft. If you are enrolled in this object-oriented design and development course, then you would need to tag along for us to have a uniform environment for our development. In this video, I'll guide you through the process of downloading Liberica JDK from Bellsoft, installing it on your system, and configuring it so that you hit the ground running. Before we dive into downloading the JDK, let's first understand what JDK actually is and why we need it for our Java development. So JDK stands for Java Development Kit. It is an essential package of tools that helps us write, compile, and run Java programs. When you are building Java application, such as what we are going to do in this school project, we would need JDK for our computer to be able to understand the code that we write. Think of it like this. You write your Java code in your text editor, but that code on its own is just a text. The JDK takes the text, compiles it into something that we call bytecode. This bytecode is what Java uses to execute your program. The JDK also includes a Java Runtime Environment, or JRE, which is what your computer uses to run Java applications. Without the JDK, you wouldn't be able to develop or run your Java programs at all. So to sum it up, the JDK gives you everything that you need to develop, test, and run your Java applications, and it is a must-have for any developer working with Java. In this tutorial, we are going to use Bellsoft Liberica JDK, which is optimized with some libraries that you would need in developing your Java FX application. So let's go to the Bellsoft website. The link is provided in your course material. So just scroll down to the JDK 17 Long-Term Support Edition, the tab. So you come to this tab, and then once you click on the JDK 17 LTS tab, scroll down to the proper bit of the machine you are using. I am using a 64-bit machine, and so I'm going to scroll down to 64-bit, and I'm using a Windows machine, so I'm going to look for the Windows version. By default, when you come to this page, standard JDK would be selected. Change this to full JDK, and then once you've been able to change this to full JDK, look for the MSI link and then click on it to download. After you finish downloading, locate the file that is downloaded. So this is where mine has been downloaded to. When I come to my downloads, I see the double click on it to initiate your installation process. Click on next, and then just make sure that you take note of where the installation is going to happen on your system. So I click on next and then click on install. This will go through the normal installation process, and then once you are done, you would have the opportunity to click on finish to complete your installation. And so now that my installation is done, I click on finish, and then for me to test to see whether the installation was actually done properly, I click on start, type cmd to go to the commands prompt, and then I type java -version. And so once I click on the enter key, it gives me the version of the JDK that I'm running and the version of the runtime environment that I'm running. And so all of this, once you have this information, then you have been able to confirm that you successfully installed your JDK. But after installing your JDK, you can also go through the process of editing your system variables and adding the path to your JDK to your system path. How do we do that? Just click on start, type environment variables, and then you look for your environment variable here, you click on it, and then you look for the system variable tab, you come to path, and then you click on edit. So fortunately for us, this has already been included in our path, but if it had not, then we will just copy the link where the installation of our JDK is, and then just click on new and then add it to it. Once this has already been added here, we'll just click OK, and then click OK, and then click OK. And so we have successfully installed our JDK on our system. The next item that we would need is what we call the IDE. So your IDE is the integrated development environment, which is more like the tool that you need to write your application. So how do we do that? The link is provided in your course material, so you can just click on the link and then it will bring you to the required IDE. So for this course, we are going to use Eclipse, the version 2024-03. And so you need to be mindful of the version, because if you select a different version, especially when you select versions that are higher than this, then it might not be compatible with the JDK that you are using. And so for us to have uniformity, let us stick with this particular version of Eclipse. So just go to your course material, click on that to download, to bring you to this site. So one thing I want you to take note of is that make sure that you click on the Eclipse installer tab, so that it takes you to the installer. It's easier to use the installer for your installation. So you identify the windows and then you click on this, and then once you click on this, it will bring you to another page where you simply click on download, and this would download the Eclipse installer for you. So once the download is done, you click on to locate where it downloaded it to, and just simply double click on it. Then once you double click on it, it would pop up the wizard, and then you would go through the installation process. And so look for Eclipse IDE for Java developers, click on that, and then make sure that the Bell Liberica JDK has been selected, as you can see in my case. And so once that is selected, then you know you are good to go. Then you click on install. Once you click on install, it may take a bit of time, but it would go through the installation process. So when the installation is done, you should see something like this, which means that you can click on launch to launch your Eclipse IDE. Again, let us be mindful of the version of Eclipse that we are using. And so the first thing you'll be asked to do is to select your workspace. Your workspace is the folder where you'll be keeping your files that you'll be working with. And so make sure that you select where you want it to be kept. And then I want to leave it as the default, and click on launch. And so once I click on launch, this is going to launch my Eclipse IDE. So once you see an interface like this, this tells you that you have successfully installed your Eclipse IDE. And so this brings us to the end of today's tutorial. I hope you are able to go through your installation process without any problem. But in case you have any problem, feel free to put it in the comments below, and I'll do well to respond to them. Thank you very much. See you in another video.